We are live! Hello everybody and welcome to the Glen for the Integrity Racing League 2021 season. Round 20 takes us to Watkins Glen International in upstate New York. Good evening everybody, my name is Jonathan Oates and welcome to the Integrity Racing League. No one joining me tonight in the broadcast booth, just a solo commentary for 40 laps here around the Watkins Glen International. The playoffs are coming up soon here for the Integrity Racing League, and the battle around the cut line is tight at the moment. The last driver into the playoffs is Jody Banfield by 8 points. Kevin P. Matz out by 8 points. And looking at the starting lineup for tonight, it actually looks like neither one of them showed up, which, well, that's not going to help either of their cases. So, now we have to turn our attention to the next driver out, Michael DeWell, only 10 points out of the playoffs, and is starting tonight's race from the 12th position. So a good run for DeWell tonight could put him in contention to make his way into the playoffs. But starting on pole is Renato Postigo. He won the last time we were at a road course in Mid-Ohio. He's starting where he left off alongside Dustin Montgomery, who has been trying for the past couple of weeks to get that first breakthrough win in the Integrity Racing League, is yet to do it, is going to go after it again tonight. Then again, Ethan Lane, another driver who has been stopping Montgomery over the past couple of weeks, won last time out in Darlington and is looking to win for the second time in a row tonight. Caitlin Height won at the road course of Circuit of the Americas earlier this season. She starts from the 4th position. Don Stephenson, league admin, starts in 5th, but it does look like that top 4 might be in a little bit of a class of their own. We'll have to find out once the green drops. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Daffin, Alvarez, Smith, Patton, and Tarabuck, your top 10. Tom Wetmore, P11. Michael DeWell, P12. Jorge Canales, P13. Jacob Fife, P14. Alan Rowell, 15th. Jay Heichman, 16th. William Dunn, 17th. Kyle Vincent Gilbert, 18th. And Landon Charlo, 19th, as the field works their way down the back straightaway here at Watkins Glen and into the inner loop. We are ready for 40 laps of action coming up next here at the Glen. Not that many races left until the playoffs. But looking at what we have here on the official schedule, Watkins Glen, we have that tonight, followed by the Indianapolis road course next week, then Michigan, Daytona, Richmond, and Bristol. The last race before the playoffs, as we see Renato Postigo going by our screen here. The dash down to turn 1 going to commence in just a couple of moments. Whoever gets out on top going to have a good chance of winning this race. It can be quite hard to pass here at Watkins Glen with limited outbreaking opportunities. But Postigo going to be starting from the pole, advantage to him early on with Montgomery alongside. Into the final 2 corners now. The Porsche iRacing safety car leads us through. It's time to bring the action here from Watkins Glen. Postigo leads them through the final 2 corners. Here we go to the green flag. Pace car is in. Well, almost in. Pace car dives off to pit road. Here we go. Let's bring the noise. We're underway from Watkins Glen. And a terrible start by Renato Postigo. Let's Dustin Montgomery slide around the outside as they go to turn 1, looking 3 wide. Ethan Lane caught up in the middle. Dustin Montgomery leads them through turn 1 and will take the lead as they head up the S's for the first time tonight. Side by side for third, Caitlin Height and Ethan Lane. Caitlin Height gonna slot in line as here comes Alec Daffin up to the bumper of Caitlin Height. Nose to tail as they go down the back straightaway and headed to the inner loop. It's Montgomery, Postigo, Ethan Lane, your top 3. Hopping over the curbing now, Dustin Montgomery leads them into the chicane for the first time tonight, coming around to the carousel. It is advantage Montgomery early on as Postigo and Lane go at it for second. Now Ethan Lane, big run off the carousel, gonna look to the inside here. Now dives back over to driver's right alongside Renato Postigo, outbreaks him going into turn 8, side by side. And now they'll head through turn 9 with Ethan Lane trying to take second away. But Postigo hangs on the high side. Not for long, though, as Ethan Lane gets back down to the inside. Side by side, it's going to be a drag race down the start-finish straight, but I do think Ethan Lane is going to come out on top, going to have the racing line towards turn number 1. quick tour of this track, at least my opinion on it. Ethan Lane takes them through turn 1 now. Now, in my opinion, this track actually has 9 turns, and I'll tell you why in a second here. As they work their way through turn 2 and up through turn 3, they'll crest the hill, come around through turn 4. Down the back straightaway, they'll make their way over to turn 5 to the right, turn 6 back to the left, and turn 7 back to the right. So here we go. Ready? Turn 5. Now this whole thing is going to be turn 6. And now we go to turn 7. With the inner loop being connected to the carousel, I'm counting that all as one turn. And then turn 8 and 9, the last 2 on track. Ethan Lane up to second, trying to run down Dustin Montgomery as we come around to start lap 3. Rest of the field getting single filed out. Coming around to turn 8. Ethan Lane trying to get to the bumper of Montgomery, but I think saving tires might be something that's a little crucial here for these drivers. You don't want to burn up your stuff too early on. Off turn 9, Dustin Montgomery going to come around to lead lap 2. Looking down the rest of the field, not too many battles on track right now, but Alec Daffin might be trying to get a little bit of pressure onto Caitlin Height here for P4. Watkins Glen, one of those road courses where road course expertise can be important, but on the other hand, it does drive quite similar to an oval in a way that a lot of the corners are, so being good on a road course is important, however, not key to success here at the Glen as we see Daffin trying to run down Height. This, of course, is an older scan of Watkins Glen, where there is not nearly as much runoff at some of these corners, namely of which the carousel. You cannot run wide there like you would in real life, and that can affect the way the drivers take that corner. Down the short chute, headed for turn 8, Dustin Montgomery still in control with Ethan Lane in second. Now here comes Ethan Lane with a run off turn number 8, going to get to the bumper of Montgomery. Into the final corner now on track. Montgomery a little bit slow. That might open up the door for Lane as we come down the start-finish straight. He's going to move on over to the right-hand side. Is he going to dab it into turn 1? He's going to back out of it. Could not get the overlap in time. Lap 4 underway. We've seen these two going at it for the past couple of weeks now in the Integrity Racing League. Ethan Lane been one of the fastest drivers all season, going for, I believe, his 4th win on the year. 5th if you count the taken away win at Watkins Glen. And I think we're seeing here that Ethan Lane just so versatile on these tracks. He's good everywhere we go, and he is showing it here tonight. With a big run now through the inner loop, he's going to be all over Dustin Montgomery as we go into the carousel. And here comes Lane with a run, looking over to the left-hand side. I think he is going to pull out this time by as they head towards turn number 8. Lane packs it in on Montgomery, gives him just enough room on driver's right, and Ethan Lane going to take the lead. Montgomery looks for the crossover, but nothing there. Ethan Lane going to hold on and take the lead on lap 4. Little sideways out of turn 9 is Ethan Lane, but he is going to come around to lead lap number 4. Lap 5 now underway. Montgomery going to try and get back to the bumper of Ethan Lane, but Lane so much more confident under braking. Might be wearing out his front tires just a little bit more as he takes off towards the S's. Looking down the rest of the field, Fife and Canales getting a little close together here for P12 as Fife gets the run out of turn 1 and headed up to the S's. You can just see the difference in ability from the front runners to the back. Fife just a lot more conservative on the throttle, not too confident in his car. Still going to do his best to get a run here out of the S's and down the back straightaway. Fife looking at a move here on Canales. Moves on over to the right-hand side and gets the move done by the time they get to turn 5. So now we turn our attention back to the front of the field as Ethan Lane continues to scoot away up front, really extending the track as much as he can on entry to these corners, but I just feel like his tires might pay for it at the end of it. We'll see what Ethan Lane can do later on in the run here as Montgomery and Postigo begin to go at it for P2 on track. Postigo, of course, one of the better drivers at saving tires on these road courses. We saw it back at Mid-Ohio. We might see it again today as Montgomery and Postigo both keep it in line as they head up towards the S's of turn 2, 3, and 4. You can just hear Postigo a lot more confident on the throttle as they come out of turn 4 and head their way down towards the inner loop. It's Ethan Lane in control. Here comes Postigo moving over to the right-hand side on Montgomery. Could not get the overlap in time and will ride around in third for now. Ethan Lane now has extended his advantage to 1.3 seconds at the front of the field. Not sure if that's boding well for his Goodyear tires, but at the moment it looks to be paying off all right for him as he continues to scoot away up front. Meanwhile, Guillermo Alvarez tries to run down Don Stephenson for P6. This, of course, is one of Stephenson's limited appearances in this series. He does like to run these road courses when the admins don't really need to do much from up in the box since there aren't any cautions to be called. So it does give Stephenson an opportunity to run here in this series with his drivers. And it gives the rest of the field to see how they stack up against one of the league admins at the moment. A lot of them losing out as Don Stephenson continues to scoot away in P6. Ethan Lane rockets down the back straightaway, headed for the inner loop. Ethan Lane been controlling this race so far, probably the championship favorite as we get towards the latter half of this season. Definitely keep your eye out for Ethan Lane as we go into the summer and fall races of the Integrity Racing League. He is definitely the championship favorite, and by far. Meanwhile, Nick Terrebuck and Tom Whitmore getting a little closer together on track. About 5/10 between them at the moment. Terrebuck, one of the drivers who has been winless so far this season, although that has not stopped him from coming close on a number of occasions. Had a very solid run last time out at Darlington, very good on the long runs, and today looks to take away that top 10 from Tom Whitmore, but right now just a little too far back to do it. Up to Cody Smith, who is trying to get away 8th from Patton. Patton hasn't ran the series in a couple of races, making his return tonight, and is under fire from one of the series regulars in Cody Smith. Down through the gears they go, all the way down to second as they get down to turn number 1. Patton out a little bit wide. Smith misses the apex as well. Patton very loose off the corner, and that is going to give Cody Smith the opportunity to get closer to the bumper as they head up through the S's. I don't think he's going to be close enough on this occasion to go for a move into the inner loop. However, that is going to put him at least a little bit closer to Patton as they dive down towards turns 5, 6, and 7. Back up to the front of the field, Renato Postigo still trying to run down Dustin Montgomery as Ethan Lane has his advantage at the front of the field to 2 seconds. Lap 9 underway this time by. Whoa, Postigo a little bit wide there through turn 9, and that's going to let Montgomery scoot away just a little bit down the front straightaway, and coming up on turn number 1, it's still Ethan Lane leading by far here at the Glen. Playoff update, Michael DeWell continues to just tick off some laps here, currently running P16. Not going to be a great points day for him, but there is a bit of a lack of other drivers in the field. So it does seem like really just staying in this spot could give him a good points day. So we'll keep our attention on this battle for second between Montgomery and Postigo. It does appear to be the closest one on track. I think if Postigo could get around Montgomery, he might be able to start making some inroads on Ethan Lane. As Postigo noses over to the inside, gets cut off by Montgomery. Might have to run out of the carousel here. He's going to look on over to driver's left. Backs out of the move, maybe not. Yes, he does. He'll stay in line for now. Montgomery, though, a little bit wide there through turn 8. Into turn 9. Good run off the corner by Postigo. Montgomery goes defensive. Postigo looks further to the inside. Darts back over to the right. Montgomery lets him have it as they go down to turn 1. So now we'll see if Renato Postigo can run down Ethan Lane in the lead. That number 69 machine has been strong on the road courses all season. But Ethan Lane maybe been a little bit stronger. Watkins Glen, of course, not your typical road course, so we'll see if that might play into the favor of Ethan Lane or Renato Postigo. It's 3 seconds between them now as we come to lap 10. You can see Postigo just so confident in his car through the S's. I do think he is going to start to run down Ethan Lane just a little bit at the front of the field. Why don't we go on board with Postigo and see how he navigates this racetrack. Down to second gear through here. Got to keep it on over to the left-hand side, but you don't want to touch the curbing there. You can run a little bit wider on exit. Down on the brakes again. Quite wide there out of turn 9. The gap is extending a little bit at the front of the field. 3.3 seconds between them now, but Postigo is starting to gap Montgomery. Up through the S's they go. How about an update on Caitlin Hype? Haven't seen her at the front of the field in too long. I don't believe she ran last week at Darlington. However, earlier on in the season, she was one of the stronger drivers in the field. Maybe fallen off a little bit as of late. Her last win coming at the Nashville Super Speedway on June 21st. So, not too much to look out for here at the moment. Just kind of ticking off laps as we come around to lap 12 next time by. League admin, Don Stevenson, still running in the 6th position, about 2 seconds off of his nearest competitor, or 1 second, 2 seconds off of the car in front, 1 second to the car behind, kind of just in his own little world right now, and that number 47 Camaro running a little wide on the exit of turn 1 there. He does like these road courses though, that's why we see him at the road course races most of the time. He is off-track adminning for this series. Back to the front of the field, 3.5 seconds now in it for the lead. Pit window here going to be around lap 20. I think that's when we might see some drivers start to call it quits and come in. That will remain to be seen though. For now, I think a lot of these guys just trying to get to that first cycle of pit stops. Closest battle on track right now appears to be for P9 between Nick Tarabuck and Tom Wetmore. This gaggle of cars kind of continuing on back here behind Brad Patton. Only a little bit of separation between them as Nick Tarabuck goes after another solid finish, 2nd week in a row. Nice run off the corner here for Tarabuck. 6/10 between him and Wetmore. I think Tarabuck might be a little bit better on the long runs here as Wetmore goes a little bit wide. That might open up the door for Nick. Here they come through the S's. Tarabuck is coming. Wetmore nice and wide out of the S's. Gets a good launch onto that back straightaway. He is going to have it. Whoa, a little bit loose into the inner loop there. We are racing at Watkins Glen. Nice and wide out of turn one goes Tom Wetmore as he continues to try and get up to the bumper of Brad Patton, but the S's don't appear to be his strongest section on the track as we crest turn three. Didn't get a great run out of the S's. That might open up the door a little bit for Nick Terbuck behind to get a run here. On board with the 4-car. A lot of these drivers going for a bit of a diamond line here through the carousel. It's not too common at the front of the field, but I think a lot of these drivers may be struggling for a grip at the back, might be trying to find something a little different to use to their advantage. Lap 15 underway. Tom Wetmore wide out of turn 9. That's going to let Nick Terbuck get a run here. Onto the start-finish straight. I think he might move over to the right-hand side. Doesn't look like it. He just was not close enough on this occasion. Wetmore now a little wide out of turn 4. Might let Terbuck get a run here. Down the back straightaway they go. Nothing going to happen as they work their way into turn 5. Hard on the brakes again as they get their way into turn 8. Why don't we go for a lap with our race leader, Ethan Lane? .25 to go here from Watkins Glen International. Ethan Lane still leading 4 seconds over Renato Postigo, who has 2.7 over Dustin Montgomery. Not too many battles going on track. I think everyone just trying to make it to the first round of pit stops, and then we might see some undercutting and overcutting. Although I think the common strategy is just going to be to split the race in half and stop it around lap 20. Oh, right, stages. Stage 1 coming to a close at the end of lap 12, so that's already done with. Stage 2, going to be end of lap 24. No caution at the end of stage 2 like there was at the ovals. Just green flag racing to the end. Wetmore up the track. Here comes Cody Smith looking to the inside. Nearly contact to the right rear quarter panel of Tom Wetmore as Smith looked to the inside. Nothing there just yet. He's going to be in the draft as they get down to turn 8. Is Cody Smith going to move over to the left-hand side? He's going to stay in line for now. 23 to go. Smith up to the bumper of Wetmore. Wetmore on the curbing. Smith exits narrow, gets a little loose, and that's going to let Tom Wetmore extend his advantage over Cody Smith. Caitlin Height, meanwhile, has made some inroads on Dustin Montgomery. She's got his advantage down to 0.8 of a second and falling. Do wonder if we're going to see anyone pit a little early, maybe around lap 19, to try and get the jump on some of these drivers. Or on the contrary, pit a little bit late to try and get a tire advantage for the end of the race. A lot of strategy that could happen here. But I'm guessing if you're race leader Ethan Lane, you just want to play conservative and stop right in the middle. Lap 19 of 40 now underway as Ethan Lane continues to lead the field. That number 26 machine, not afraid of being out front. He's done it quite a bit this season. He is doing it again tonight. Caitlin Height and Dustin Montgomery really the main battle on track at the moment, except for maybe Cody Smith and Tom Wetmore, who are rounding their way through turn 9. Here comes Smith with a run. Wetmore gets loose. This is going to be a scrap that carries all the way down to turn 1. The number 18 Budweiser Chevrolet moves on over to the right-hand side, gets covered off by that Supra of Wetmore down to turn 1. Wetmore a little wide, and now that'll let Cody Smith slip down the inside. Wetmore goes off the track, and Cody Smith is through to P9. Meanwhile, Don Stevenson has actually come into pit. So a potential undercut here at play by Don Stevenson in that number 47 machine. Is that going to trigger anyone else to come into the pit lane? Or on lap 19, the window is open. Is anyone going to risk it and pull it in early? Ethan Lane staying out. Renato Postigo is calling it into the pits. The number 69 car coming down. Montgomery stays out, so does Caitlin Height. But it does look like Postigo is going for the undercut. Nice and easy into his box. That's all he's got to do. Right sides, then left side, or left sides. No, which side goes up first? I think left sides go up first. He overshot his box just a little bit. That might cost him a little bit of time. Right sides are up. I'm guessing it's going to be a 4 tires and fuel call for the number 69 crew. Left sides going up now. It's going to be a 13.9 second stop. Now Ethan Lane works his way through the carousel. Will he react to Postigo's undercut? Or is he going to stay out a couple of more laps? If he does, that could leave him vulnerable to losing some track position once Postigo gets back out on track. Renato cycling back out to P9 just in front of Jacob Fife. Ethan Lane looks like he is staying out again, so it's going to be at least a 1-lap undercut by Postigo. Couple of more laps, though, and I worry Postigo might even be able to take the lead as Dustin Montgomery comes in from P3. Well, P3 once everything cycles out. P2 on track. Now it's up to Postigo to nail these out laps and get as much time over his rival that he can, as Dustin Montgomery brings that that matte black number 93 down the pit lane. Oh, Montgomery way too deep into the box. Has to back it up, but that's going to cost him a little bit of time. Left side's going up for the number 93. Postigo coming out of the front straightaway now, and he is going to be far and away ahead of Dustin Montgomery, who is just rolling out now. Ethan Lane makes his way through the carousel. Will he bring it in this time by? If not, it'll be a 2-lap undercut. I don't know. They're running about just a little over a second off their fastest times. Sorry, no, just a little under 2 seconds, I should say. So, definitely don't really understand the call by Ethan Lane to stay out this long, but I guess now he is going to have a tire advantage at the end, but it'll be a pretty big gap to make up. See what the call is for Lane this time by. Lane staying out on track, obviously, for now. If I were him, I'd pull it in this lap because I don't want to leave myself too vulnerable to an undercut, but I think now we're kind of getting into that territory of pit now, your tires are going to be fine at the end, and you're not going to be too far behind Postigo once he comes out on track. But I think now Postigo has effectively jumped Ethan Lane. So will Lane call it quits and bring it in this time by? No, he stays out again. Pit lane here in total costs you about 38 seconds. And at the moment, Postigo's gap to the race leader only 34 seconds. So that's about a 4-second advantage once it cycles out. Keep in mind, though, that tire advantage will be there for Ethan Lane once he comes out of the pit lane. Might shape up to be a bit of an interesting finish here, depending on how aggressively Postigo can defend his position. And keep in mind, Dustin Montgomery is a player in this battle as well, though it looks like at the moment he will cycle out behind Ethan Lane once he decides to bring it in. Oh, we got trouble in turn 8. One car off the track and a couple of cars going side by side down into the inner loop. Look away for 1 second and it's all kicking off. Ethan Lane stays out again. It was Cody Smith who went out of the track. That's that number 18. And it just stepped out on him on exit, overcorrected, and into the sand he goes. So now Renato Postigo looking at about a 5-second lead when Ethan Lane pits. That's a pretty sizable gap to make up, but the longer that Ethan Lane stays out, the bigger that gap will be, but the fresher his tires will be. Alec Daffin continues to put some pressure on Caitlin Height. He is under a second away from the 00 machine. Not quite close enough. Let's see if Ethan Lane brings it in this time by. And yes, he is. Down pit road comes the driver of the number 26. No mistakes now, and he should be able to cycle out into P2. Let's see what the stop is like for Ethan Lane. As Alec Daffin stays out on track, Caitlin Height brings it in as well. Here we go. Ethan Lane nicely into his box. Left side's going up first. The High Performance Motorsports machine likely just going to go for a 4 and fuel call. Seems to be the common call of the race. Right sides are up. It's going to be down and away. Now here comes Postigo. Going to go through into turn 1, and Renato Postigo takes P2 on track. And is going to enjoy a nice comfortable lead for at least one lap before Ethan Lane can try and run him back down. It's going to be 38.3 in the pits for Ethan Lane and a 1.7 second advantage for Postigo. Alec Daffin, though, the driver who is in the lead, going to try and go all the way to the end of his stint, or maybe even to the end of the race if he's feeling lucky. Might be able to save enough fuel. I've seen it done before. Might be possible. Now 2/10 between Tarabuck and Patton. Both these drivers have stayed out the entirety of the race. They're really holding up Montgomery right now as well. Montgomery looks over the right-hand side on Tarabuck. Can't make the move then. Ethan Lane now 1.4 away from Postigo as Alec Daffin calls it into the pits. Montgomery, Tarabuck side by side to turn 1. Montgomery lets him go. Sorry, Tarabuck lets him go. And now we turn our attention to the battle for the lead. 15 to go, and the gap at the front is 1.2 seconds. Then Lane, though, making quick work of Postigo's lead. It's down to under a second. How aggressively will Postigo fight for the win here? It'll be 14 to go at the line. Dustin Montgomery, 8 seconds back at this battle for the lead. Gap at the front now, 0.5 of a second as we get 14 to go. Back on the gas is Ethan Lane. He's going to have a big advantage here through the S's. This is where tires really pay off. You can see he's just able to carry so much more speed through these corners. Slips out a little wide though on exit. We'll see if he goes for the out-braking maneuver down into the inner loop. 14 to go. Not really the time to rush it as Postigo sails into the bus stop far and ahead of Ethan Lane. Back down to turn number 8 on the brakes go. Both these top two. Postigo out a little bit wide. That'll let Ethan Lane get to the bumper, and here they come into turn 9. Postigo defensive. Lane out a little wide. Postigo going to slip it on exit. Nose to tail down the start-finish straight. Postigo moves over to the right-hand side. Lane carries it around the outside. They're going to be side by side down to turn number 1. Postigo on the racing line. Ethan Lane on the high side. They're going to be side by side. Lane around the outside takes back the race lead. And now it should be smooth sailing to the end as Ethan Lane able to take away the lead commandingly from Renato Postigo. And High Performance Motorsports Machine out front for the second week in a row, looking for his second week in a row of a win. Ethan Lane has really cranked up the wick in these past couple of races. He has been on a tear and is right now leading away with 13 coming to 12 to go here at Watkins Glen. Now looking down the rest of the field, everyone's getting a little bit spread out except for Caitlin Height and Dawn Stephenson side by side to turn 1. Stephenson lets her go and Caitlin Height's back up into 4th. Stephenson with that mega undercut, about 6 laps older tires than Caitlin Height, currently riding inside the top 5. Really fun to watch these cars just kind of bounce over the curbing on entry to the bus stop there. They really can attack that curb. Of course, the curbs here on iRacing not quite as steep as they are currently in real life, but if they were, they'd be bouncing way higher up. Postigo out wide just a little bit there out of turn number 9. Got on the exit curbing just slightly as now Alec Daffin turns his attention to Don Stevenson. 7-lap fresher tires and 1.5 seconds between them. Down to turn 5, 6, and now 7. Daffin not really closing the gap too much to Don Stevenson. He's been kind of riding behind for a bit. Despite those fresher tires, I think Daffin might have burnt them up earlier on in the run or something, because he is definitely not making too many inroads like I'd expect him to with that tire advantage. 11 laps to go, now 10. Pretty short race here at Watkins Glen. It's gone by pretty quickly so far, only 10 to go now. Daffin now only a second away from Stevenson. Now Daffin 7/10 away from Don Stevenson. He is starting to make some of those inroads now as they work their way up through the S's. Four tenths now. Guessing if Daffin's going to make a pass this lap, I'm guessing it would be in either turn 8 or turn 9 as they work their way through the bus stop. Daffin out a little bit wide, missing that second part of turn 6. See if Daffin goes for it into 8. Looks like he's going to either wait until 9 or back around to turn 1 as they all dive off into the corner. Stevenson out a little bit wide, a little bit slow off the corner. That will let Alec Daffin get all over him as they come back onto the start-finish straight. Big run by Daffin. He's going to move over to the right-hand side. Stevenson might just let him go here as they go down to turn number 1. Yes, he will. Daffin's up in a 5th. Solid run by Alec Daffin. He's been able to stay out of trouble all day, looking to put some more points on the board. He is currently the highest driver in the chase without a win this season. Now we turn our attention to Guillermo Alvarez, who has a 1-second disadvantage to Don Stevenson, as does have fresher tires, though, by about 6 laps, so he's going to try and run him down now, about a second between them as we come to 8 to go. Both Alvarez and Stephenson extending turn 1 just a little bit. There's a little bit of runoff there on the exit. Not quite as much as there is now, but a little bit on exit to catch your left sides if you happen to drift wide a little bit. As Alvarez has the gap between him and Stephenson down to 0.7 of a second. As they dive off into the inner loop. Nice paint scheme there for Guillermo Alvarez. I'm a big fan of that. Five tenths now between him and Stephenson. I think he is going to be there by the time they get to the end of the lap. Stephenson out wide. Here comes Alvarez with another lunge into turn 9. Back up onto the front straightaway. 7 laps to go for these drivers. Is Alvarez going to go for it into turn 1? He might have the brakes to do it. Decided not to go for it on this occasion. Don't think he could have outbraked him if he wanted to. 7 to go. And again, both those drivers just dipping their left sides onto that runoff area on the exit of turn 1. It's perfectly legal, not track limits. Track limits not enforced in this league. I think Alvarez is going to be there. Might be able to get him by the time they get to the inner loop. Great run off turn 4. Down the back straightaway. Stephenson pulls over. Going to let him go as well. Alvarez up to P6. Now Tom Wetmore and Brad Patton separated by 0.2 of a second. Tire advantage to Brad Patton by about 7 laps. So I think he is going to be able to get Wetmore as they go into the inner loop. We'll see if Wetmore lays over for him like Stephenson did to Alvarez, or if Patton's going to have to work hard at it. They're both sliding out of turn 4. 6 laps to go. Down on the brakes they go. Wetmore slides into turn 5. Now through turn 6. Wetmore keeping it on the racing line. Great corner by Wetmore. Actually pulled away from Patton a little bit despite his tire disadvantage. Oh, Patton a little squirrely under braking there, trying to get all the time he can here on Wetmore. 6 to go here at Watkins Glen, and Patton trying to cross him over on exit. Wetmore and him both slide coming out of the final corner. Oh, trouble. They almost came together there into turn number 1. Patton now going to have the run off the corner. Is he going to send it into the S's? No, he is not. They stay nose to tail, not side by side on this occasion. Wetmore, though, able to really keep his car under him through the S despite his tire disadvantage. Now he goes a little bit wide, and here comes Patton with a run. Wetmore into the grass. Wetmore over to the right-hand side to defend. Patton goes further right, side by side into the inner loop. Wetmore hangs on. Is he a little too deep? No, he is not. Oh, maybe he is. They're both near the grass, Patton especially in the grass, and that's going to check him up and back him up into the 4 of Nick Terrebuck. Very exciting stuff here with 5 to go. Terrebuck can now see that aquamarine and black Depth Esports back bumper on Brad Patton's car, and Patton can see that number 51 of Tom Wetmore as they get 5 to go. Patton going to have another go at it on this occasion on lap 36. Patton packs it into the corner, almost gets to the bumper of Wetmore. I think they might have touched through the center. Patton not going to move over to the right-hand side this time by and just lays in line for now as they charge their way up through the S's. Wetmore sends it deep through 3. That's able to work out for him. A little slippery through turn 4. Extends his advantage as Patton not able to get the run. They're going to dive it off into the inner loop now, and look at Tom Wetmore. So late on the brakes out of there. Is that a little too late? No, it is not. Tom Wetmore is flying through the bus stop. Tom Wetmore just so confident through there, really able to mount the curbing. Unfortunately, he's not able to have that speed at the rest of the track, probably just because of his tire disadvantage, but it's doing him wonders in terms of staying ahead of Brad Patton. Whoa, Patton sideways off turn 8. Another lunge into turn 9. Four laps to go for these drivers as Ethan Lane continues to extend his advantage at the front of the field, but that's not what we're looking at right now. It's this battle for 8th, which is the most exciting as Patton looks to the inside, lock up out of the right front of that one car. That'll back them both up to Nick Tarabuk as they charge their way back up through the S's. Through turn 2, now they'll crest the hill of turn 3. Wetmore so good at this section of the racetrack. Patton's got to get it done in turn 1 because Wetmore is too good to the other outbraking opportunity. 3 to go. Patton now getting a little more aggressive with his curb usage. Ethan Lane now crests the hill of turn 4 and continues to run away with this win. But now Patton out wide a little bit. Here comes Tarabuk looking low. Patton defending the inside line to turn 8. Both these drivers likely faster than Wetmore at the moment, but Wetmore able to position his car masterfully and keep it in front of the 1 and the 4 cars. Patton gonna have another go at it down the front straightaway. Not close enough to do it into turn 1, but he might be able to set it up for, I don't know, maybe the inner loop if he's gotten more confident with it. Lock up out of the right front of Wetmore. That lets Patton get quite a bit closer. Is he going to send it into the S's? Not on this occasion. Nose to tail, bumper to bumper as they go through turn 2. Patton a little slideways coming out of turn 4 as they now send it down towards the inner loop. Wetmore still leading this group, backfiring out of the exhaust pipes of that number 51 machine, and everyone else snakes their way through the inner loop following that 51 machine. No one able to hold a candle to him through there. Patton's so good through this latter half of the track. This is where the tires matter really the most. But he was not able to get the run out of the carousel, and that's going to again open up the door for Nick Tarabuk, who looks high, but cannot make the move work down into turn 8. Patton's going to be closer on this occasion. Wetmore going defensive into turn 9. Patton rides in on the bumper, gives him a shot, but goes wide himself. Now Nick Tarabuk going to have the run out of turn 9, and he will go to the inside as they work their way to, down towards turn number 1. How aggressive will Patton be on the brakes? How aggressive will Tarabuk be on the brakes? Tarabuk looking down the inside, side by side. I don't think he can get the run. They're both sideways as they work their way to turn 2. They'll stay nose to tail as the white flag is out for race leader Ethan Lane one more time around. And everyone here getting just that little bit more confident with sending it into the inner loop. Tom Wetmore doing a great job holding on for now. Might have gone through the grass a little bit as they work their way down towards the carousel. And out in front, Ethan Lane is leading away with really less than 5 turns to go. Last 2 corners on the lap for this pack of cars, but they are all still on the lead lap. They'll have to make it one more time around, and that's not good that's not good news if you're Tom Wetmore, because he doesn't have it this time. Patton slides it into the corner and almost loses it off the bumper of Tom Wetmore, and that lets Nick Tarabuk slip around the outside. Ethan Lane makes it through turns 8 and 9, and for the 4th time this season has been perfect all day. Sliding it out of turn number 9, Ethan Lane is going to win again, this time at Watkins Glen. But back to the battle for 8th. It's up to Nick Tarabuk now to try and make something happen in this last part of the lap. Wetmore stays ahead through the first 4 corners. It'll be down to the bus stop, the carousel, and the last 2 on the track. Down into the inner loop, both of them late on the brakes. Patton misses it. He's off the track. He's out of contention. He'll have to serve a slowdown as he locks up and blows the corner. Here they come through the carousel. Patton slow. That's for the slowdown. Is he gonna be able to take advantage of it? I don't think so. He might be waiting to serve it until the last part of the track, as this is the battle for 8th. Tarabuck to the bumper of Wetmore. They touch. Tarabuck not close enough on this occasion, but maybe on exit he will be. Tarabuck gets back to the gas first. Patton waits to serve his slowdown. Side by side to the line. I actually think Patton got 8th out of that. Whoa. Is he going to be allowed to keep that? I doubt it. He cut the bus stop, and I guess he served the iRacing slowdown, but he's still getting a spot out of it. Well, regardless, Ethan Lane is your winner. And he is going to be able to burn it down here, knowing that he has won for the 4th time this season. Not sure if there's going to be any penalties to Brad Patton, although I doubt there wouldn't be, because he definitely gained an advantage out of that. But Ethan Lane, 4th time this season, has done it. 5th time if you count Talladega. And he is proving himself to be unstoppable when he needs to be. Ethan Lane burns it down here at the Watkins Glen International. The high-performance motorsports entry of Ethan Lane going to victory lane once more here in the Integrity Racing League. It's hard to say that he isn't the championship favorite at this point in time. Let's go ahead and bring him up for an interview and get his perspective on the race. Wasn't the most eventful race, especially not for him, but I'm sure still quite a lot to talk about as I have to find my way over to the Discord. Let's go and bring Ethan Lane in for his thoughts. Ethan, it's Jonathan Oates, TMG broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, we got you.
It's another commanding win for you, 4th on the season, 2nd at a road course, this time at Watkins Glen. It didn't start out too good. You started in 3rd, you were able to take the lead pretty early on, though, and then you never looked back. What was the difference between you and the field out there tonight?
I want to say braking and getting through the S's. That's where most of the time is here. Like getting into the bus stop, kind of like it gives you, like, if you can brake like probably 100 feet later, and then just yeet it through the bus stop, you're getting like 2-3 tenths, and I think that's where the time was.
Yeah, and this is now 2nd week in a row that you've won, but 2 very different circumstances. Last time out, it was one of the longest races of the season at Darlington. This time out, one of the shortest races of the season at Watkins Glen. What are some of the keys to being that adaptable as a driver and being good in so many environments?
Well, with NASCAR adding so many road courses, you just have to be, especially with one in the playoffs where if you win there, you're in advance, I think, until the Final Four. So if you can be good at multiple different styles of tracks, you should be able to make your way through to the Final Four, which is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, definitely the eyes for you got to be on the championship. I think you're proving yourself to probably be the best driver in this field, definitely the championship favorite. Does that alter your expectations at all as you go into those playoff races? Does it take some of the pressure off knowing that everyone else is probably on a 2nd level compared to you, or is the pressure still on?
No, the pressure's still on, because even with all these points we're collecting, one bad race and they're right there at us. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And lastly, Ethan, it's another commanding win for you. Anyone that you want to give a shout out to for your performance today?
Shout out to HPM for the top 10 finish we had at Road to Pro. Shout out to y'all for always putting these broadcasts on. It's always awesome to go back and watch, just to see the different styles that everyone's doing, and just for Don to continue running this league. It's been a fun year so far.
All right, well, big congratulations to you. Good luck in Road to Pro. I think you guys are at Rockingham this Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, so good luck in that, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you.
And that was Ethan Lane, driver the number 26, came out on top. Unfortunately for the driver in 2nd, he did not come out on top, and that would be Renato Postigo, who we're going to bring into the booth now. Renato, Jonathan Oates, TMG broadcast booth. You got a copy?
What's up, Jonathan?
Well, man, last time out at Mid-Ohio, you were able to come away with a win. This time, you came up 1 spot short. Ethan Lane was in this race again. You beat him last time. Do you think he got a little bit better in between, or is Watkins Glen maybe just not the track for you?
Well, actually, I was surprised if at any track I was going to get beaten was Watkins Glen. This is one of my favorite tracks, and I usually do well. I feel I did well today as well, but Ethan just had really good pace all around. So yeah, I mean, just congratulations to him. Honestly, I had nothing on him. I tried my best. I tried that undercut at for the only stop, and it didn't work. But yeah, I tried. I tried. I think he definitely. I feel compared to Mid Ohio has improved on his long run stint here. I think the long run was where Ethan was struggling, or he was pushing a lot at Mid Ohio. Didn't see him doing the same mistakes here.
Yeah, and we saw you were pretty good on the long run really throughout the race, but unfortunately got mired back in traffic at the start, and you had to try and make up that 3-second deficit towards the beginning of the race. Do you think that maybe if you started off a little bit closer to Ethan Lane, you would have been able to get a little closer throughout the run?
Yeah, I think the race would have been closer for sure. I'm not sure if I would have if it would have been enough to win, as track position is really important here at Watkins Glen. Overtaking is tricky unless you have a really like the speed difference is big. Um, but it would have been definitely closer. I think Ethan would have still won, but yeah, I need to improve my start as well. I thought it was a second gear start, but I think everyone else around me started on first gear, and that's what got them the boost.
Yeah, definitely a little unfortunate there at the start, but you're still proving to be one of the best drivers on road courses in the field. One of the things that I've been noticing at a lot of these road courses is that there's a pretty big divide between the drivers who can be good and the drivers that are struggling. Do you think that a lot of that is just down to practice, or is there maybe a mindset around switching between the ovals to the road courses that a lot of people just aren't a fan of?
I think it's probably mainly practice. I've raced with lots of these guys. I used to race a lot of ovals before, and I raced a lot in integrity. So I know the people here are very quick on the oval side. So I think it's just a matter of they getting more practice. Some people don't like the road courses, which it's fine. It's not their style. So that can also be another factor, I think.
Yeah, definitely a lot of factors that go into that. In the end, you were able to come home in P2. Very solid finish for you in some of your limited appearances in this series. Anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, first of all, to my very good friend Guillermo Alvarez, who was also on my car today as the sponsor, as a little joke. Always helping me in these races, and to my girlfriend Jasmine, who's always supporting me in every stupid little thing I do.
Well, congratulations to you on that second place finish. We're going to go and send you back.
Thank you.
And that was Renato Postigo. Always great to talk to him after one of these road course races. Really enjoy bringing him up into the booth. Next up, Dustin Montgomery. Actually, no, not Dustin Montgomery. He's not in the Discord. Okay, next up. Well, Caitlin Light doesn't have a microphone. Okay, next up. Yeah, no, can't do that. Okay. I think that's actually going to do it for interviews, because everyone inside the top 5 has either already been interviewed or is not available to be interviewed. So, you know what? I'm going to give my thoughts on this race really quick. I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people, for some reason, kind of have this thing against racing road courses on an oval series. I'm not really sure why. I always love doing these road course races. I love participating in them. I love broadcasting them. I hope you all at home enjoyed it as well. Next week for the Integrity Racing League, let me just make sure it actually is next week. Yes, it is. We are doing another road course. We're going to run it back, this time at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course layout. I believe that will be the current layout, which is on iRacing. I know there's a patch coming out between now and then. I don't know if maybe they'll add in a rescan. I think it has been rescanned. I think that's confirmed. Not entirely sure, but hey, that remains to be seen. But that's going to do it for the Integrity Racing League from Watkins Glen. I hope you all at home enjoyed the race. Congratulations to Ethan Lane. We're going to go ahead and talk to you all next week, unless you will be tuning into the Rod Car broadcast this Friday, twitch.tv/superspeedway. It'll be Dorman and I on the call.